And welcome back to another daily devotion. I'm Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Monday, June 5th of 2023. We are in the book of 2 Corinthians, and we are at the 9th chapter today. We've made it to chapter 9. Today we're going to look at the first 5 verses only. We left off with chapter 8 with Paul talking about he's sending Titus, and he's one or two other gentlemen. I think it's two, but we can debate that for till the cows come home, probably. But let's just go with Pastor Roy's thoughts. These three gentlemen are going to see the church in Corinth. Paul is sending them about the collection for the folks in Jerusalem. And it seems that Paul's continuing on with that same line of thought and very much repeating some of the same things. But some folks look at this as a possibility that this is a different letter. That here we've got a redacting, blending, and editing together of two different letters, and that they've brought this in here. That's one of the lines of thinking. Or is it that Paul just is reiterating it to drive home the point of how important it is for these guys to get there and how important this collection really is to Paul? So much so that he's spending this last chapter 8 and this chapter 9, pretty much that's what he's talking about. Chapter 10, we're going to switch directions a little bit, but 8 and 9, that's kind of what's going on. So it's debated. We don't know. We'll never know until we get to God's kingdom and we can go up and ask Paul, hey, Paul, chapter 8 and 9, 2 Corinthians, what was going on there? But this section, the Revised Standard Version, which is what I'm reading from, this entire chapter is called the collection for the Christians at Jerusalem. So again, let's look at the first 5 verses today, and then we'll deal with the rest tomorrow. Now it is superfluous for me to write to you about the offering for the saints. For I know your readiness, of which I boast about you to the people of Macedonia, saying that Acha has been ready since last year, and your zeal has stirred up most of them. But I am sending the brethren so that our boasting about you may not prove vain in this case, so that you may be ready as I said you would be, lest if some Macedonians come with me and find that you are not ready, we be humiliated, to say nothing of you, for being so confident. So I thought it necessary to urge your brethren to go on to you before me, and arrange in advance for this gift you have promised, so that it may be ready not as an exaction, but as a willing gift. All right, a willing gift. But I'm going to remind you about your commitment. So Paul is using what is sometimes done for in fundraising. He has used the church in Corinth. Now remember, Corinth is a wealthy community. And he has told the Macedonian church about what they've been doing there and how they've been collecting money for the saints in Jerusalem. And remember, the church in Jerusalem has been the Jewish widows and orphans, everybody, and it would have impacted some of the folks' ability to help the widows and orphans, because everybody's been pretty much cut off from aid from the temple. Now we know that they were in the temple area preaching. James is there up until the time he's martyred, it seems. Jesus' brother James. But they would have been they had support cut off, and because they were looked down upon by the leaders, there's some thought that the folks that were in business may have had trouble with some of their business relations because they were out of favor with the priests and the Pharisees and what have you, the leaders, we want to say. That's possible, very possible, that there was some discrimination against them because of their affiliation with the Way, as it's called at that time. But for certain, the support to the widows and the orphans has been cut off, and that's really the biggest need. And of course, when you're looking at giving in the Old Testament, it's about widows and orphans pretty much. Also the crippled and blind and all of that, or lepers, but it's someone that's suffering either from being a widow or an orphan, or from some physical inability to work. It's definitely not about somebody that's able-bodied. All right, enough said about that. But he's using them as an example, right? He has used them as an example to the Macedonian church, which is not well off. Now, those folks are living in a poorer community. Corinth is a rich town, and it's believed that by happenstance, at least some of these folks that are here in this group are reasonably well-to-do, and so they've got means. And of course, Paul's not pointing out any individuals in this. It's just the church. And nor do I think he should. I want to make sure that I have said during this, I shouldn't say always said, often said, that you really should not let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. You're not supposed to be giving your giving in boastful ways. I think that's very much against Scripture. I think Jesus very much was against the idea of giving money to build yourself up in front of others. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. You are supposed to be giving because of the condition of your heart, not because you want to get some kind of glory or name on a wall or a plaque or get your name on the list of platinum givers and all of that kind of stuff. That's not what's supposed to happen. One of the things I'm very careful about here at Woodlawn and my ministry is that, I may see what was collected on a Sunday, but I never see who gave. I don't think you ever want to do that as a pastor. You should do your utmost to make sure that you are ignorant of who is giving what and who is your biggest supporters, because you don't want that to affect your relationship with these people. Obviously, you're going to know based on somebody's business and whatnot who has the potential for the greatest giving, but you don't know who's the greatest givers. But here, Paul is saying he wants them to get this done so that it's not an embarrassment to them. He's saying it's not an embarrassment to himself, but he's also saying it's not an embarrassment to them, because the church of Macedonia is going to come in there and go, wait a minute. These guys haven't done their collection. He's very much looking out for them. He wants to save face for them. And you have to remember that honor and saving face is a big deal in the ancient world. Something that we used to be that way, we wanted to save face, but it's something that's kind of fallen out of vogue. People do some really stupid, crazy things online that humiliate themselves and do it just to get clicks and likes. It's a weird world, but I digress. With that, that's enough of this for today. We'll finish the chapter tomorrow. Please do remember, though, that as of Monday, we're doing this Monday, but coming Monday, the 12th, I will be on sabbatical from the 12th of June until I will be returning back to Lake City for a council meeting on the 12th of July. I won't be in the office on the 12th. I won't be back in the office until the 13th, but I won't be doing a devotion. I won't be posting a devotion until the 17th of July. So we'll see where we get to between here and Friday. We won't get through all the way through 2 Corinthians, so we'll have to pick up the remainder of 2 Corinthians in July, at July 17th. We'll come back to wherever it is I leave off on Friday. I apologize for that break. I apologize for that inconvenience, but I really do need to get my sabbatical in. It was supposed to be done 3 years ago by my contract, but that was COVID. And you all know what that was like, and the world kind of went berserk. So with that, have a blessed night. Please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. Tell them about Jesus. That would be a great way to bless them all. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.